Just woke up and wanted to create this video for you right away because it's still swollen and you can still sort of see it if you can compare. I wanted to create this video to show you the difference between the first laser away tattoo session to the second. This is how it looks now. This was the last part. So how it worked was, since my tattoo is so large, this is my only tattoo by the way, I have to go in for 2 visits per session. My first part of the visit is the top, and then 2 days I have to wait for it to subside, and then 2 days later I come in to do the bottom. For another 24 to 48 hours I can't exercise or take a hot shower, just anything that gets the blood heated and circulating because it causes scarring. The reason for this is because circulation cuts off to my hand and my arm will be dead. That's the end of my arm. They don't want to risk that. I just have to say it, the blues got to me. First things first, our mind is a powerful thing because we really get to understand how it protects us from pain and discomfort and things we don't necessarily want to remember. I have a medium tolerance for pain, so if I know it's gonna happen, it usually doesn't hurt as much because I mentally prepare myself, I psych myself up. When I don't have an experience that is relatable to that, that's when my pain tolerance is higher. For instance, when I got my microblading done years ago, the very first time, it was horrible. I forgot how miserable I felt the very first time not being able to work out from my first laser away session, not being able to even be in the sun, to take a hot shower. I just made sure to take a shower that was below my body temperature, below 98 degrees. Thank goodness my shower has a thermometer on the shower head, but not being able to walk, be in the sun, or get my blood circulating with a higher temperature in any way was something I completely forgot to factor in. And I love working out, jumping around, dancing after dinner, and taking part in my daily excitement. A real tip: schedule sex. For those of you who didn't see my first session, you can visit here in the post with the video. My tattoo wraps around. The parts that were swollen this time were just the parts that were affected. So the parts that were blasted by the laser, it was literally waves and lumps of swelling. The very first time my whole arm just puffed up. It was huge. My hand looked like a baby's hand where like the knuckles are inverted and into dimples. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't so much blood flow. I'm staying relaxed, keeping it elevated. Nothing stressful happens to my arm or to me, and I just wanted to be as relaxed as possible. It's really good because I had a day off the next day. Well, I created one. And the intensity of the swelling is enough to know this laser is working, as my body's reaction is ever so clear, where you can have a laser treatment done on your face and you're not sure if it does anything because you're not sure if you look different, and it takes months to see it and you have to have multiple sessions. Where I see a visible difference, especially the day right after. It tends to be much lighter as compared to this, where this is a bit darker. This is the top session. It goes back to being dark again. Not that dark, but you can definitely see like the last colors of pigment are gone. Usually within pigment, the last color to leave is red. When you dye your hair, you get blonde highlights, it goes orange. I see the pigment going away, and each technician is different. The reason each technician says you have a different amount of weeks to come back for your next visit is because the first time you visit, you'll get zapped by the laser, and then they'll say you have to come in most likely 6 weeks to get the full cycle of your skin cells. If I came 2 days later, she said you have to come back in 8 weeks. And the next time I came to the second session, she said you have to come back in 12 weeks. And then I was getting confused. I did 4 to 6 weeks every single time, like laser hair removal. The more sessions you go to, the more intense each session gets. So the more time you have to wait in between is what I asked them, because I remember I went in the second session. In my first visit, she said 12 weeks, and then the next time, 2 days later, to get the bottom half, it was a different technician, and it was the very first lady that I ever had the first session with, because each technician was different every time except for her. She said you have to come back in 12 weeks. I asked her, I was like, why is everybody giving me a different time? And so she explained that every session is you do stronger and more effective for as long as you can handle the level that they turn up to, basically cooking your skin. So this means longer healing time in between. And the first visit they said come back in 6 weeks, the next they said 8, and then now 12. I scheduled 12 weeks out for my next session for the 2 visits. Plan accordingly with booking sunny vacations. Cover up when you're out in sunlight, because it's not worth it to spend all this money, spend all this time, go through all this discomfort and pain to just end up with permanent scarring damage. And you don't want to have to pay a fortune for laser scar removal, where I'm using Mederma also for another area I have on my body from scar surgery. That was from a previous mistake I learned about not having done my aftercare properly. Do your aftercare. It's just as important as a procedure, if not even more important. My hairs on my arm are now blonde. As you can see, my hair is like dark chocolate brown. I wasn't looking too carefully, and I just saw in my peripheral vision, I looked down and I saw my arm was blonde. I thought, is it just the light? and I checked, and I don't know, you probably can't see on this. My hairs went like platinum, like white blonde. Pigment of the hair where it was lasered was also gone. So I usually shave my arms, but lately I just haven't been because I'm taking shorter showers. I also didn't want unnecessary ingrown. The very first visit of my second session experience was after doing some testing, like the lady will zap you. She'll put some cold air for a few seconds so it feels cooler than usual and the effects aren't as crazy. Then she'll zap me to test that area. She said, how is it? The thing was, I said, it's okay, it's tolerable for me to continue at that setting. It was very painful. I was clenching my teeth and squinting my eyes really hard. So can I take it? Yes. She said, okay, let's turn it up. And I was like, no, this is it. Like, we're just sticking to this. It was much more painful than my first session. I don't know if the setting was already on blast when I got there. The other problem I had with this was she didn't exactly cover everything. There were parts that were just like missing that when she went over them with the laser, they especially hurt. And to use the numbing cream, you have to really, I used to work at a surgery center, so I would numb people before injections and such. You really have to rub it in to activate it is the thing. And so I was biting down on that very first visit, on the second session's first visit. During the actual part of the lasering session, I had to check my emails. I always try to check my emails to keep my mind busy and distract myself, but the emails weren't juicy enough to keep my brain diverted. So issue 2 was it hurt so bad I couldn't focus on anything but trying to breathe and get through it. So the second visit and second session was the OG woman from the very first time, and she was training someone. I made sure to come with my newly gauzed and cleaned arm full of hydrocortisone and Vaseline. She was like, oh, it's happy to see that you're following the instructions, and unwrapped everything. And she really got in there with the numbing cream, with the glove, and just like rubbed it all over, rubbed it on the tattooed areas. It wasn't so intense, the lasering. I don't know if the setting was lower or if she just really did a good job of activating the numbing cream, because I felt way less pain. It was definitely more tolerable. And I asked her about her tattoo again because she had a little tattoo, but she said it was dark. And my tattoo is actually quite on the surface, according to one of the technicians, and she said it'll take less sessions than I think. I prepaid for everything, so I'm gonna have to see how that works. I'll get back to you guys on that. Her tattoo was scarred, by the way. Her tattoo is almost completely gone after 4 sessions. It looks so good, and I can't wait to have mine clean. But after the sessions, I didn't take a shower for 2 days and felt disgusting. My hair was greasy. I washed my face. I kept getting rid of any makeup 2 seconds after I put it on because it just felt gross, and I changed my clothes as much as I could just to feel clean, and I just felt lousy. So taking a cold shower wasn't on my radar, and I just waited until the swelling went down after a day. So 24 to 48 hours is when you can't raise your body temperature, or else circulation will cause permanent scarring. No thanks. Driving and doing anything with my arm was sore, so when I was driving home right after the session, it just felt uncomfortable. It felt like I shouldn't have been doing it. I felt like I should have been resting and had someone else drive me. And they said that you should ice it for 2 hours every 5 minutes. After I did shower, I put hydrocortisone and Vaseline and wrapped it in cloth in a gauze. I definitely feel better after taking a shower. You feel like a new person after showering. Made me feel also like the progress of my tattoo, the swelling was like 75% over. So get into that mindset. It will definitely help you heal faster. And it's go out in nature, go feel good about yourself, go shower, do what's important to you to make you feel good about aftercare, because it's important to feel better progressively and monumentally so that your healing feels much faster, and it does happen faster. So I was just waiting, and I'm still waiting for the tightness to subside, and there is still some swelling. I don't know if you can tell the difference. It's not massive, but it feels, when you have like a toothache, you know it's there and you feel the pain and you just want it to go away. And someone recently asked me, my husband asked me, would you rather have 10 sessions of less pain or 4 sessions of absolute horror? And I said 10 sessions of less pain because at least it's tolerable, I can manage it, and I know it will be done eventually. Where 4 sessions, it's like after the first session of the horror, of the ultimate pain, I will not want to come back. So that's something to consider when you go into laser tattoo removal, because it really hurts. And I felt every single crunch of my skin when it came to microblading the very first time. The lady didn't know what she's doing, so make sure you consult, go with an expert, watch their work, check out their portfolio, whatever it is. And I'm just so excited to be free of any labels, any categorization, people putting me into a box when they see my tattoo, whatever stigma it comes with. I just want to be free of having to tell people, when I was 16, I was in a band and I was in a phase. I'm no longer anywhere near that person anymore. I'm 26, it's literally 10 years later, and I'm glad she is fading into my past. So if you can answer this question, what is something you're doing to level up in your life and something that you're doing for yourself to make yourself feel better about being you? I'd love to know more in the comments below, and any questions, I'd love to know more. I'd love to answer them. And if anything, if you want to know about the cost, come visit my first video. It'll be linked down below and in a card, hopefully, if I can figure out how to do that. So if you have any questions, any comments, let me know and I will answer them below. Thanks for watching.